All right. Yo, what is up? What is up, Winston? What is up? I don't know why, but my YouTube is fucking up. For some reason, when I create my live, which is super, easy to do on Streamlabs, whenever I go to start that live, it automatically puts me in a separate one, and then I have to like re-upload the thumbnail and change everything over. But I already sent out the links, so it's like it's annoying. But anyway, but that's not what you're here for. You're not here to hear about me bitching, although I'm sure it's fun. Um, we are here for chapter 1141, and I am so incredibly excited. So much so that I heard through the grapevine that this is a good chapter, but also there's no break. So I'm very interested to see what comes next. But just to let you guys know, I also have finally gotten my craft down as far as my One Piece TCG and like opening up packs and stuff on TikTok. So now I'm going to start porting those over to YouTube shorts so people can enjoy them over there. And yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's one of the cool things that I've learned as far as editing goes and how to format it correctly. So anyway, please like me over on TikTok as well and follow and stuff like that if you're not, so you can get the latest and greatest on all my accounts. I also started posting more on threads recently, like with news and just my opinions and stuff like that. So let's get at the chapter. We got chapter 1141, Older Woman. Sounds like we're talking about Ripley. So then, what is this? Oh, so we see Ulti. Um, she was up on the board thing getting stabbed, and then they have page one on the ground, and who's who it has the sword to page one's face. And the people in the back are chanting, "Kill, kill." And it says, Oni Child Yamato and the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage can't hold back the tears of frustration. Very interesting. Let's see Oda's notes. Don't hurt Pepe. Yeah, man. I like page one. I really like Alti. I think her design is super cool. I like her a lot. I think she's dope. Oda's notes, just when I wrote them off, Pizza Hut steps up their corporate game. A ramen pizza? Yum. That sounds crazy. Oh, we'll see. And then it's all right, so we're gonna jump right into this chapter. Nami says, "What a waste! We've been trekking through the massive castle all day." It says they're done ransacking West Oust Castle. Frodo's like, "Oh my god." Nami's like, "And we don't even have a single giant diamond, pearl, or piece of gold to show for it." And then Rhoda thinks, Nami Tasso, you really shouldn't say such things out loud. And it's like, it's not like I care about this Loki monster, you know? And then it says, Loki, giant diamond. Oh, it's nothing to worry about, pal. Huh. It's like the two giants that they bandaged or they found that were knocked out. And then it says, just lay back and get some rest. It says, Nami Tasso, can you maybe tone it down? And it's like, eh? Where's all the treasure? And it's like, Nami Tasso. That's so funny. They like save these guys, but they're like, dude, we're pissed off. We can't find anything. And they're talking about Loki. And the Giants are like, dude, who the fuck is talking about this stuff? Um, so then we get to Hold on. Okay. Um, then we get to Treasure Tree Tour. Frankie said, "Ain't surprising, but there's a hell of a lot to take in here. It's incredible." And Ripley says, "To summarize, we basically live on the tree's enormous branches." And so, like Holmes, Adam Tree, it's like each one has a long, rich history of its own. And I says, "Wow!" And that one, that branch was where Hagen Village used to be. And I, what does it say here? Lightning struck it one day and it went up in flames. It had gotten too dry and old, so there was no way to put it out. Oh. And says the entire branch was severed from the tree to ensure the fire wouldn't spread to any of the other villages. Very interesting. It's like hollow. It looks like, like, hmm. Frankie says, "I see. Bet that was a tough call. I guess even atom trees aren't immune to time." And then Ripley says, "That's Elbaf's biggest weakness, fire and lightning." Hmm, that's interesting. Winston said, "Nami being mad about not finding treasure in a giant castle is hilarious." Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's so funny. And then it says, "Western Village Feast." And Usopp says, "Where did you sneak off to, Nami?" And it says, "I haven't seen Luffy or Zoro anywhere either." And Nami said, "They're probably just exploring." And he's like, "That's right. That's right. Good thinking." And it says, "Woo, Jarul, you've got to meet our genius navigator." And he says, "Ah, ain't she a beauty?" And it says, "Ha, you pervy old man. Is she your type?" And he said, "Bochasha. My type, huh? Honestly, I'm into older women." And Usopp's like, "You're the oldest guy in the world. There's no way you'll find a woman like that." Yeah, mama. And it says, "Youch." He hit the fucking he hit the blade in Ja Rule's head. And he's like, "Youch." And they're like, "Elder Ja Rule." And Usopp's like popping off and it says, "Usopp, keep your mitts off the Elder's sword." And it says, "Shut up, Dory. Hey, anyone want to try pulling out Excalibur?" Yo, this is so funny. It says, "Don't, the blood loss will kill him." And it says, "Oh my, he's so drunk." And it says, "Look who's talking." That's so funny. Brooke is like just so hammered. He's like wearing his head as a belt. Like what? And it says, "Big Mom uses fire and lightning almost. Also, most of the Straw Hats can use fire. Elbaf might be getting a blaze by the end of the arc." It says Usopp. Dude, yeah. That's so funny that Big Mom literally made two homies that were literally the things that hurt Elbaf the most. Very interesting. And Usopp's like, "I guess it can't be helped though." And Nami's like, "This was his dream, making it all the way here." And Jinbei's like, "Wow, you can tell." I love this for Usopp. I do. And the fact that he's like not a scaredy cat here, like in these moments, like these guys are giants and stuff like that. And he's out here just fucking with them. So funny. And then Shaji's looking left and right, and he's like, "Something's off. Where's Gerd-chan?" And Gerd's like, "They have bone fractures, and one of them looks like they've been stabbed. You really think a normal human could cause that kind of damage?" Interesting. And it says, "What happened? Out with it. These guards are no joke. What are you up to?" Mm. And then Roto's like, "Nothing. I was merely up there doing research so I can improve my block castle. But I found the front door was sliced up and the guards were." And Gerd was like, "Are you hot? You're sweating bullets." And Roto was like, "Because you keep staring at me." And then it's like, "I'm gonna question the guards." And it says, "No, they need rest." And Gerd says, "Well, I'm gonna tell Elder Ja Rule." Oh no. And then Rhoda says, "But that'll ruin the party for him." And Rhoda says, "You can't do that till you get all the facts straight. Nobody likes a party pooper." And Gerd just looks at him like, bro, what are we doing here?" And then Rhoda's like, "If this Loki business gets out before Luffy, Tasso, and the others return, I'll be labeled a co-conspirator. Hopefully Loki just takes off. Once he's free, he can raise hell overseas for all I care." Mm. And then all of a sudden, Gerd's behind him, and it says, "The only thing that worries me is that red hair look-alike." Oh yeah, they did talk about the red hair look-alike, right? Hold on. Oh yeah, the guard said it. I was like, did they meet up with them? Did they see them? What the fuck is going on? And then Gerd bodies Roto and says, "Spill it. You know something, don't you?" Oh shit, here we go. And says, "Realm of the Dead. Hey Luffy, this isn't the scene I pictured from your description. He wasn't like this when I saw him. The animals have been attacked too. Hang in there, guys." And it says, "Loki, what happened? Who did this?" And Zoro's like, "He's big, even for a giant." And it says, "Loki, say something." It says, "He's breathing." And it says, "Don't give him the key yet, Luffy. This changes things. It's not like he can go on a rampage with these wounds. Come on, Zoro, lend me a." And it says, "Hand." It says, "Those chains must be made from sea stone." That could have take What could have taken out these big beasts? Hold on, Luffy. Let's wait a bit. And Luffy's like, "This giant's about to die. We've got to help him." And it says, "We don't owe him a thing." He says, "I haven't spoken to him, but we shouldn't take his bad reputation lightly. This guy's as big as oars." Mmm. Mmm. The big as oars thing is super cool. Uh, and then he says, "If we let him run loose, it may not end pretty, even for the country like Elbaf." And it says, "Just wait." Hmm? He says, "Just wait." And he's like, "Whoa, what the heck, Zoro?" And he's like, "Gah!" And then he yells, "Yeah." And it says, "Seems those bloody wounds are definitely the real thing, real deal. So he's not faking." And Loki says, "Damn, what the hell?" And then he flops over. It's like, "He's dead." If he is dead, that was simply his fate. You can be a real jerk. Yo, how interesting. How interesting. One, the way that this is playing out, but like also just the way that Zoro and Luffy are interacting in this is very interesting. Ugh. Um, Zoro says, "Fine, I'll go along with unlocking him, but let's leave some sea stone around one of his legs." And it says, we can talk it out more once he regains consciousness. And Lupin said, all right, then let's go fetch Chopper. It says, the library is way too far away. I'll bet we'll find a doctor partying back at the village, though. And then he says, if they find out we freed Loki, they'll banish us, won't they? And he says, then we'll be banished. We've got no choice. I'm going to call a doctor. And it says, we should stock up on meat too, right? It says, knowing you, you won't be at your best if you don't eat. And Zoro says, there's plenty of meat over there. And it says, no way, don't even joke about something like that. Those guys are my buddies. I can just go hunting in the mountains later. It says, meat's meat, isn't it? And Luffy says, anyone who becomes my friend is off the menu. Yo, Luffy standing on business. Love to see it. I do. And then Zoro says, all right, my bad. And then Luffy says, let's find a doctor first. And it says, uh-huh. And then all of a sudden he looks up and is like, It says, please don't do it. Huh? And it says, I told you island clouds can't sustain themselves in the realm of the dead. And it says, I thought we could use the last bit of buoyancy before they disappeared. And it says, I'll save you, Gerd-chan. Oh, it's the new giant pirates. It says, we couldn't waste time getting a lift. This is an emergency. If Loki escapes, all hell will break loose. And it says, it's all over. We're all gonna die. Sorry, guys, I made the wrong call. It says, I don't blame you. You were thinking about the safety of Elbaf. And Rhoda said, what a life. And Luffy sees it and goes, gum gum balloon. And they like bounce down on him. And Haruden is like, straw hat. And he's like, ha ha ha. And then he bounces him up. And they're like, yeah. And then Haruden says, thank you. Even walking away from that hurt is a miracle. If it weren't for you, we'd be dead for sure. It says, huff, huff. We had to hurry, though. I'm glad we made it in time. Please don't go through with your plan to release Loki, Straw Hat. And it says, I forced Roto to spill the beans. And he says, forgive me, Luffy Tasso. And then it says, you can't trust Loki. He's a cunning, ruthless trickster, black-hearted, and beyond redemption. Haruden says, since we were kids, even when he did or said something nice, it was all a lie. He's a fiend who betrays others without a second thought. Loki's a threat to the entire world. I'm afraid you're already too late. And it says, huh? Oh, shit. Hey, Loki stands up. Oh my god. Yo, he's so big. He's huge. It says Loki. It says, what? I could have sworn he was out cold. And he like all of a sudden someone grips a sword and it says, stop it. It says, Loki. Loki picks up a weapon. And it says, Loki, put Ragnar down. And it says, the accursed prince rises. Yo. Oh my god. The fact that Loki's weapon is called Ragnir is crazy. One, two, they do still have one sea stone cuff on his leg, which is cool, but he is free, which is kind of crazy. I'm just like, yo, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see next chapter. Holy shit. Loki's hammer is named Ragnir. Aura alert, dude. Yeah. Yeah. It says, do you think the weapon has the devil fruit? But why put sea stone on Loki if so? It's possible he wields something with a devil fruit, but also has a devil fruit. I mean, why not? But I don't know. There's something that tells me that like Loki doesn't have a devil fruit or something, or his weapon doesn't have one. Um, but yeah, this is just sick. It says a doctor is also there now, but I think Loki might flex his strength. Yeah, I hope honestly, what would be the coolest thing to me is like seeing Loki's strength would be cool, right? Like there's just something so beautiful about the possibility that he gets up, grabs his weapon, and releases Conqueror's Haki or something, but then falls over to the ground and then gets treated. But like this is super interesting. I also love Luffy's face here. He's like, "Mm." Like, how do I tell him that I already fucking undid the cuffs? Um, but yeah, ah man, so cool. This this chapter's awesome. Um, it gives a lot of just fucking awesome information here. And I love seeing this dynamic between Zoro and Luffy because they're very much two very different people. Um, Loki conquers. I think it's a high possibility. Yeah, dude, I would put money on it. I just think to where I think that Loki is and like who he is as a person, like I think that he's got to be a Conqueror's user. Like if my theory is correct and that King Harold was the one who made a deal with the world government and was trying to sell out the giants by making them weaker by being like, hey, we need to give up barbaric ways and all this other stuff, and just systemically uprooting and changing the way Elbaf is. There's no doubt in my mind that Loki was the one who killed him, but he did it for the right reason because he knew that they were going to sell him out. Now, people say something like, well, is Ja Rule in on it then? I'm like, Ja Rule has a blade through his head, so he could have easily lost his memory when he got stabbed like that, probably by the king, because the sword in his head looks like the sword that the king had in the thing. So like, hold on, let's go back here because I know Oda, he oh no. Well, hopefully that didn't stay up there too long. I hate when I when I do something and then all of a sudden TCB hits me with the fucking pop-ups. Because that's wild. So if we look at his sword here, it's got like dots on the bottom, it's got the hilt and everything. If I try to do this, hopefully no. Um okay, so I need this chapter open. Where is it? I think it's probably the Harley, right? Let's see here. It's when they get to the castle. Mm. Okay, it's not the Harley. It's probably the chapter right beforehand. Nope, stop. Um okay. Okay, here we go. So if we look here, like, oh, this is the throne room. All right, if we look at King Harold in the way the hilt comes down, it like comes down and then over. I wish we could see a close up of his sword. Um, so that's interesting. Let's look at this then. Let's see what the hilt looks like on the sword in his head. It looks to me like it's the sword. Um, the monster trio, all there, Loki, 8v1 would be a big power showcase. Could see it being something like Loki seeing Ja Rule doing something sus, and then Loki decides, I'm gonna take you out. Ja Rule seeing this would think Loki's just crazy and maybe tried to stop Loki. So if you look at the blade that is in Ja Rule's head, it look the way the hilt comes up, it looks like it's fucking the king's sword. Like it really does. The way the hilt is, that's a very unique looking hilt. And to have something similar to that is kind of crazy. So to me, this screams that Loki wasn't the one who stabbed through his head. So to me, Ja Rule probably was stabbed, maybe got amnesia, whatever, by the actual king when Loki was killing him or something like that. Like, or, call me crazy, but they do the skirmish or whatever, and he like him with Loki or whatever, or Ja Rule um literally finds Loki with his father's body, and then Ja Rule literally just gets clipped by the king's sword because Loki has it and he sees him and is like, you killed the king, and lunges at him, and this is what happens. But I'm going to go with a more likely option that King Harold did this to Ja Rule as they were trying to stop the king. It was probably Loki and Ja Rule trying to stop the king, and the king and Ja Rule just doesn't remember because of the blade. Or Loki told Ja Rule, hey, I'm going to take the fall for this. We have to preserve the Elbaf warrior race. It says blade is very similar, so maybe Loki killed Harold using his sword, and Ja Rule stepped in front, getting a blade stuck in his head. It's very true. It says it's yeah. I'm telling you, Ja Rule knows something, or is forgetting something, and Loki's actually innocent because even the God's Night's Lapse chapter said, "Hey, did you visit King Harold's grave?" If they were just kind of like doing it in jest, they probably wouldn't have cared so much, and it wouldn't even have been worth mentioning, in all honesty. So the fact that they mentioned it means that he was probably affiliated with the world government somehow, probably trying to become a holy knight or a celestial dragon, and he ripped off his horns as a display to them to show him that he's more human like and stuff like that. And then continued to set them up like completely to the point where all of the kids that they're about to take are all just completely wimps except for Colin. So Winston says, also, there were all others in the castle, the skeletons. So did Harold force them to fight him? It's very possible. Or it's even possible that when when Loki was going to kill King Harold was actually already slaughtering a lot of the giants that were the strongest giants that were there. He was probably killing them to make giants weaker faster. Like he was basically trying to impose this. Like this is, I think Harold is trying to get into good graces with the world government, painted the abyss circle because the world government told them to. Yeah, 100%. Like there's no doubt in my mind that King Harold's the bad guy in all this. That is how it exactly, needs to be kind of looked into a little bit. But there's no doubt in my mind that King Harold is the bad person in this story, and Loki was actually the good guy. He's just playing the bad guy in this case, and has done so because he knows it's the role he has to play. Like the thing that's so crazy to me is so and this is what blows my mind. So couldn't Hardine's mom and him couldn't live in the castle and be the queen and prince of Elbaf because they come from a different tribe. King Harold is the king. He's the only person who could change that. So you're telling me that the dude who literally has the influence to be able to make it so that his wife, who he slept with and had a kid with, or not even wife, just slept with, he had the ability to make her the queen and did not because of societal norms. And then he does something completely different in where he changes the societal norms of Elbaf's being warriors. Make it make sense for me, because that's bananas. That's bananas ass behavior. How are you going to tell me that this dude is good? I would love for you to give me like a 10-page thesis on why you think Harold is good based upon the nothing that we've seen, but everything that's pointing to the contrary. Blows my mind. But yeah, there's no way that Loki isn't the good guy in all this. I feel like we've heard way too much about Loki being kind-hearted and all these other things, and we've even seen it. Sure, he's been out of pocket a little bit, but like 9 times out of 10, we think I'm telling you, Loki is not the bad guy that everyone thinks he is. And I would be hard pressed to believe that this guy, Prince Loki, isn't our technical, if we want to say like every arc has the princess that needs help. This is our princess. He's just the prince instead. So, um, Winston says the abyss circle in the castle doesn't have the fire around it. And when it's used to summon someone, it has the fire around it. So it's likely it was painted on there. Maybe. Who knows? I'm sure once we get King Harold's backstory, or Loki's backstory, we'll get more. But I'm telling you, Loki is one aura farming heavy right here. His aura is just it's crazy, and we're about to get some great shit next chapter. Like I need to make sure that I get some other people on the next stream with me, because I think next chapter we're gonna get some good shit. Good shit. So, let's just quick go over the parts of the chapter, what I liked about it, all that good stuff. So, no, don't want that. Okay. All right, first part of the chapter, the whole Nami being pissed off and talking to the giants that are knocked out there and then being like, what the F? Elbaf backstory will pop off. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be crazy. So I really like the moment with Nami and the Elbaf giants in it. We're like, Nami, please don't say that out loud. She's like, I'm pissed. The fact that we find out that fire and lightning, which is like both of Big Mom's powers, but also Sabo and Anel. So like it's kind of making reference to that, but it's also interesting because a lot of the Straw Hats have these powers. Sanji has fire, Luffy has fire, and Nami has lightning. Like those characters have the ability to fight Elbaf in a way. The Usopp acting brave thing, as well as Ja Rule being like, I'm into older women, is funny. The hitting of the blade in his head is funny. Um, I'm wondering if like next chapter, because like they're like, who's trying to pull out Excalibur? I'm wondering if once we get Ja Rule's sword out of his head, like whenever someone pulls it, if that is going to be the trigger for him to remember exactly what happened. Sanji noticing Gerd is gone is really funny, as well as Nami being like, you know, this was his dream to Usopp, making it all the way here. Gerd just being great and a doctor and fantastic, but then also beating Frodo's ass. Awesome. The it's stuff between Luffy and Zoro, amazing. The way that they're like just so opposite or like, oppositional to each other, even though they're on the same team is great. Um, then them unlocking it, Luffy seeing, the new giants coming down and saving them, just super awesome. And then just Loki's aura at the end. Like this chapter to me is like a 9. It's got to be. So I'm gonna say this chapter is a 9 for me. It's super good. It's getting really awesome, and I'm super excited for 1142. Um, so that is my thoughts on it. It's definitely a 9.5. A 9.5 out of 10. Um, Hold on, I think my camera's acting up. There we go. But it's definitely a really good chapter. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's a peak chapter to me. Um, it's definitely a 9, maybe 9.5, honestly, just because I just enjoyed all of the banter and everything going back and forth was really good. So I loved it. Um, But yeah, that is where my chapter reaction ends. Please, as always, like the stream, like the live. If you could, follow me and also subscribe. I do this every week that there's a new One Piece chapter. So definitely stay tuned. I also open up packs of the One Piece trading card game. I've lately been doing on TikTok live streams of me playing Marvel Rivals with my friends, and it's just been a great time. So please, if you like any of that stuff, if you want to see something else, leave a comment. But please, make sure that the YouTube algorithm is treating me well by liking and stuff like that. But thank you guys so much as always. You guys make my weekend so great whenever we can have these great discussions about One Piece on here. I always say One Piece is better as a conversation, and I love having that conversation with you guys. So until next time, Jana.